Claflin University has been the choice of thousands of students to help them prepare for a life of success and to realize their dreams.
Claflin has an amazing reputation of preparing the workforce here in the South Carolina region and globally. We know that your experience here at Claflin will be transformational.
The university has many articulation agreements with international institutions of higher education. Consider Claflin University as your choice because the world needs visionaries.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the Claflin Athletic Show with our special guest this week, Coach Terrence Jenkins, more commonly known as Coach T, for the women's basketball team at Claflin University. In our second season, I'd like to welcome Coach Jenkins. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for having me this morning.
Coach, it's always our pleasure to have you on to the multitude of fans that you've been able to garner for the basketball program at Claflin.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Coach, I almost had you speechless there. I almost caught you off guard.
Yeah, you almost had me off guard. As always.
Oh, say, Coach, you get ready to start another season. Tell us your outlook on it as you get ready to crank it up. Well, what's your perspective on it?
Man, I can't be smiling big enough right now. I'm really, pleased with how we coming along throughout the preseason, and now we into our season of practice, 20 hours a week, and the young ladies are really buying in to what me and Coach Mike are trying to pour into them with the offensive scheme and the defensive scheme right now. And so, it's always good, coaches, we kind of get, real antsy for the season, but at the end of the day, we undefeated right now. So everything is good. Everything is good right now.
Okay, so being a former coach, you're kind of in that honeymoon phase where you're real excited about what you have and the talent that you had. And it takes a while sometimes before you say, this is the shortcoming I got to work on. I'm still not quite able to have X, Y, and Z, so I have to make some adjustments to cover up for that. And that's typically what we do. So right now, you're kind of in that honeymoon phase, huh?
Absolutely. You hit it right on the head, Coach. I still feel like, going into this season right here, I kind of feel like I put my hands on this team a whole lot more than my first season. With this being my really first year recruiting. But this year, I just feel like, I want to be bigger and quicker. We didn't get as big as I wanted to get, but I just feel like we got some good pieces that's going to be really efficient, when it comes to, day-to-day games.
Okay, well, Coach, it does make a difference when you're able to spend a year or two with your program and identify pieces that you might want. And then you kind of get some young ladies to come into the program, so you have some old and new. But you're returning some players that can play a little bit, Coach.
Yes, sir. I got 6 of them, and they're gonna really be real instrumental in what we're trying to do this year, and trying to bring in the 6 new transfers and the 3 freshmen that we have on the roster. I think they're doing a really good job of just coming together and forming a great personality. We got an outing today. Our team bonding is today. We're gonna head over to USC to hang out with Dawn Staley and her new team, and then we're gonna go get some lunch, and then we're gonna probably go bowling. And so this is something to just get away from the game and just more like a mental health day to just get away and just be free and just be yourself.
Okay, well, how has Nia Morris looked for you? She's one of your seniors that was your leading scorer last year. How's she looking for you?
She's doing pretty good, man. She's whole lot more vocal this year. There's some things that we had on her exit interview last year. We told her she got to be a little bit more vocal. You're gonna have to have things in more perspective this year going into day-to-day practice, because everything matters. That's our big slogan this year, and she needs to understand that, and she's understanding that real well. Lauren Scott, you're talking about Janelle Sample, Destiny Coleman, Cheryl Lewis. They're doing a really good job of just trying to buy in and make it an easy transition for the transfer and the new freshmen that we have on campus.
Okay, Coach, you're a little psychic, because I was just getting ready to ask you some more about some of those young ladies specifically. and you beat me to the punch. That's what a good coach does. He thinks ahead.
Yes.
But Coach, you got a challenging schedule ahead of you. You know, how do you perceive your schedule for this season? You know, I know you open up and you have Allen University. You open with Allen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Allen's, it's the main point. It's the biggest point right now because they're the first game, and so it's the biggest game right now. And so right now, I told the young ladies, we focusing on us right now. It's Claflin versus Claflin right now because we got to be prepared when Allen, come in here on November 13th.
Okay. And the first game is at home. I know you're excited, and then you have homecoming almost right after that, huh?
Yes. We opening up that Monday with Allen University, and then we close out that week of homecoming with North Greenville, who also will be a real tough opponent for homecoming. Division II foe. So going against somebody on the same level always going to be a little difficult. Task, but I think we'll be ready.
Well, one advantage that you have, having talked to Coach Dunlap, at least you'll have a game under your belt before you get to homecoming.
Absolutely. That's always good. The same thing we did last year. Last year we opened up with North Greenville on the road before homecoming because I didn't want to go into homecoming and let that be our first 40 minutes of the season. So I wanted to kind of play up under the whistle, get used to each other. At the end of the day, I got a new team. They got to get used to me. I got to get used to them. And, game situation, going through game situation is the best teacher. So, I think I'm excited about it.
Okay, Coach, I know one of the things from having seen you play, you wanted to increase and have a little bit more depth at your point guard spot.
Yeah.
What did you do to resolve that desire? Who did you bring in to be able to give you that depth that you wanted to be able to compete at that position, especially after you spent a year in the CIAA, crossing over from the men's side to the women's side? What have you done to be able to relax your concerns at that spot?
Well, my biggest thing, great question, Coach. My biggest thing was I wanted to get older at the point guard spot, and I wanted to have a young point guard also. So we brought in 3 point guards. One is more of a combo. We brought in Jasmine Jeffries from Harkin Community College. She's a junior college transfer. She's gonna give us that leadership. And I'm so delighted that she's giving us a lot of leadership and a lot of insight from that position. And then we got 2 freshmen, soccer line kids. One from Lower Richland High School and the other one from Charleston, South Carolina. So I just feel real confident that they're gonna really, lead our team in the right direction.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask you to dive into that a little bit more and tell me the differences in the 3, because I know in your recruiting you tried to make sure that each one of them weren't a replica of the other one, that you wanted to have different strengths and weaknesses in each one. So which one is your real quick point guard?
It's gonna be Jasmine Jeffries. She's gonna be that one that sets the table for everybody. Right now, we telling her, we want you to score, at the end of the day, but we also want you to get everybody involved. So she's more of the facilitator. Then we got Tyra Floyd, who is more of the combo. She's gonna kind of get us into our stuff, but sometimes, she will, facilitate her own offense. But she also can slide over to the 2. So I'm able to have 2 ball handlers on the floor at the same time. And then we got Kennedy, who's from Charleston, South Carolina. She's having a little, bumpy start right now because she has a little slight injury from the preseason. But for the most part, she's more of the 2 of both. She can score and facilitate. So I got 3 point guards in 3 aspects of the game. I got a facilitator, I got a combo where she's a scorer and facilitator, and then I got a young lady that can do it all, as in Kennedy.
Well, one thing about women's basketball, having had some conversations with you about it, having a good guard play, can sink your ship if you don't have good guard play and can handle that pressure. Absolutely. And run your show for you, because CIAA teams like to get up in your face full court. So you got to have somebody that can handle that pressure.
Absolutely. Got to, because last year we come off a season where we had a really, really great start, and then we just had a turnover bug just took over. That came from not having, a solid point guard last year. Not making excuses, but we just didn't have solid point guard play last year, and that's something that we're looking forward to uplift our program, uplift our season this year.
Now you kind of had some young ladies that could handle the ball, but they weren't true point guards. You were trying to get them to run the offense for you, and but they were able to score. They had nice size, but you lacked that quickness, and I know that was something that you wanted to address.
Absolutely, and that's what we did. Me and Coach Mike, we put our hard hat on and our work gloves on, and we were out there and we was beating the pavement, trying to find those players that can fit our program and fit our system. And for the most part, we were able to find. We missed out on a lot that we really want. You have that A, B, and C on that depth chart, on your recruiting depth chart, and sometimes A looks so good, then A decided to go somewhere else. Then B looks so good, and sometimes B decided to go somewhere else. And then you see a lot of potential in C, and sometimes when you do get C really was an A. And so we point into these young athletes and developing them, into not just young, good, solid basketball players, but just molding them into good people. They're really good people.
Well, you said something really significant there. That one thing that I'm going to elaborate on it a little bit is that you much rather have a student athlete that really wants to be there and play for you than one who acts like they've done you a favor by coming to your program.
Absolutely.
You end up having problems with them every time. But when you have one that wants to play for you, wants to be at Claflin, that extra effort that they give in terms of being successful is a lot more for you. Does you a lot better.
Yeah, that goes a long way. So if a person really want to be there, that comes. And I tell young ladies all the time, nothing changes. The same expectation that me and Coach Mike have for you ladies, it's the same expectation we have for ourselves. We here working with other coaches, other administrators, and they expect us to be on time, be where we're supposed to be. And if you don't want to be here, Tony don't want you here. Your colleagues not gonna want you here either. So we trying to get them ready for the world. We always tell them, life after Claflin, and so it's nothing better than a player or a person wanting to be there and they absorbing the atmosphere and the environment, and we just growing together. And so I'm really excited about this second season coming up.
And Coach, you should be. And you said something else about, and you just elaborated on it some when you were talking about fit our program. Claflin isn't for everybody. I say all the time, when people tell me about student athletes and I say, no, they're not gonna go to class. And if they're not going to class, they're not gonna survive at Claflin, because Claflin is an academic institution first. And you send somebody up there that's not going to class and not interested in trying to better themselves, they'll be home in a week.
Yeah. One thing about Claflin, being a former student athlete here at Claflin, the students they're gonna go about their business. They're gonna be where they're supposed to be. They're not gonna be hanging out on the campus too much unless they got free time. They're gonna be doing what you're supposed to be doing. And, the biggest thing is you want to get the right fit. Where you want to be a student athlete, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Okay, and Coach, one of the things in your program, I see that you garnered some respect in the preseason CIAA poll from where you did or how they predicted you last year. They have a little bit more respect for your program this year.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday with the young ladies a little bit. We really don't dwell on it too much, because at the end of the day, that's a prediction that's coming from other coaches and other colleagues in the conference, respectfully. That's a prediction. But one thing about sports, you get to predict your own outcome. So, we excited, they picked us 6, our biggest thing is last year, I told them, last year they ain't gave us a number. We was tied for 7. So they didn't even give us a number by ourselves. So this year, that's always, good. I'm humble enough to say, hey, thank you for the insight of, having, giving my program some respect. But at the same time, we got a whole lot more work to do, because 6, Just 6-6. That means 5 other teams better than you.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, do you have what do you have and we talked about it with the men's program. You have a little break in that schedule.
Mm-hmm.
You have maybe 2 weeks off at Christmas, and as a coach, that means you almost. I mean, actually, you have 2 seasons, and having been a former basketball coach for men and women,
Yes,
you try to, if possible, to make those days as short as possible, because you can get them back, and it's almost like, what in the world did you do over the spring break? It takes a while to get them back. So how do you handle that, Coach?
man. Biggest key is you don't want them to go. You don't want them to go deaf ear, and you don't want them to get bored, and you don't want this basketball, which is fun and exciting. You don't want them to make them think that it's work. Where it's like, oh Lord, here we go again. No, so we kind of make practice a whole lot more competitive and fun. You kind of put shooting practices in there now. They really excited when you have half of your team on one end and the other half on the other end, and they're competing. So they'll get caught up in the process of competing and having fun, but not really know we're really getting some work in, some good competitive work in. And so you kind of know the heartbeat of your team. Just make it fun for them. That's a long break just to be tugging at each other. It's almost like preseason all over again. Like, oh man, because we ready to see another color. But you just make it fun for them where you kind of take things off in between. But at the same time, just have a lot of shooting practice in there where they come in, have film. So make them be students of the game as well. Where it's not all just drawing out 2-hour practice, 2.5-hour practice, because at the end of the day, it's a long season for us too as coaches.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You said a mouthful in, Coach. People don't understand that other side of it.
Yeah. And I tell them all the time, I'm the brains of it. Y'all the brains and the working part. So I'm smart enough to understand, that y'all get tired mentally and physically, and so, sometimes, I tell them, let's take a mental health day, y'all. Let us get away from the game, get a break from each other. But, hey, when we come back in 24 hours, we going at it. We gonna have a good time. And so they kind of, grasp that a whole lot better when you kind of put the ownership back on them and say, hey, we're gonna get away, but at the same time, we're gonna have some fun, but we gotta get the job done first.
Coach, you said something there. I remember days when I would go in the gym, or I would be dragging, and I hadn't ran a step. And I know if I was tired and was dragging, they had to be. So you take that into consideration sometimes, that, having been a former player, you recognize that. And a lot of times those are those days either you push through it or sometimes injuries come. So you have to be a little bit sympathetic towards that.
Absolutely, man. I've been around coaches where they just like, oh no, we're gonna practice. We gotta get it in. And I get it. You want to have your team prepared. But at the end of the day, one practice, not gonna make or break your whole season. So you gotta be smart about it. You gotta be a former athlete yourself to kind of think longevity to say, do I go in here and have this one practice where I may say the wrong thing because I'm tired, they tired, they don't want to hear my voice, and you mess around and lose your team from that one practice. So you kind of gotta make sure that you know the temperature of your team and just punch the right buttons, like anything else.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Coach, let me back up a little bit. We talked about a couple of things that you wanted to upgrade within your team, and one of them was that inside play and size. How did you accomplish that? Tell us about what you did there.
Biggest key, I got young lady CC and Kiva, and I got an undersized post that's really gonna be really detrimental in what we trying to do, man. She's really, she hit that offensive glass. She don't pass the eye test. She look undersized, but man, she get after it a whole lot. In Destiny Scratch, we call her Scratch. She's not long, she's not Lincoln, but she just gets it done. She just keep coming. He works our big girls out a whole lot. And Destiny Coleman, she's coming back. She's a grad student. She's going to be a whole lot, solid this year because last year she didn't get a preseason in. So her timing was all off, and she's coming in with really high expectations because he felt like she let herself down last year. So this year she's gonna really be really strong for us on the inside. We got Leo Harris coming back off ACL. When I took over in the middle of the year 2 years ago, she tore an ACL and a couple more ligaments in her knee, but she's coming back stronger than ever. She's an inside-out presence, long, lanky. She's probably about 6 foot, 6'1", who's going to be really, really, her skill set going to be really good for us, when we get into league play.
Okay, Coach, back up a little bit. Tell us about Stretch. About her size. One of the best post players I ever had was a 5'8" post that looked like a 3. And man, she was our leading scorer every year she was here. She was absolutely killing people.
Yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about that when you had, Coach.
And that's one of my Midwest girls. She's from Saginaw. She don't like for me to say she's from Michigan. It's different. It's a difference, Coach. So she's from Saginaw. She's probably about 5'7", 5'8", same built as your young lady back in the day. And she just keep coming. My biggest thing is, calming her down between her ears. She just wants to get it right, Coach. And I tell her, I want you to get it right too. But sometimes it's gonna be some adversity. It's gonna look ugly sometimes, and we just gotta keep coming. And that's what she does, man. Once she get that down pat, oh man, it's gonna be scary.
What's her classification, Coach?
She'll be a junior as well. She'll be a junior.
Okay. She was a transfer for you.
Yes, sir. She's a transfer from Michigan, and she's really going to be really, really instrumental in what we're doing.
Coach, the one I had, we used to run a 2-1-2 press. She was in the middle, and Coach, it was a 1-2-2 press because she ended up being so aggressive that she was up challenging the ball. So my assistant said, Coach, you gonna put her in a spot? I said, no, I'm gonna let her go. That thing working pretty good like that.
Yeah. I tell them sometimes, don't make us overcoach. I can see you right now saying, hey, back up. Then she got a couple steals. You like, oh, okay, I'm gonna let you go.
Right.
Yeah.
That's that typical bad shot. What you good shot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the moments. We all have that. And so after a while, you gotta be like, you know what? That's working,
And I like that. Sometimes, we've had them where they ended up pressing on their own. I mean, they start off and then they stretch it out to half court. The next thing I know is 3/4 court. And they talk about, Coach, we smell the blood. We smell the blood. So
yeah,
I'm going to let them go. It's their team. I'm going to let them go.
That's the thing, sometimes you got to listen, as a leader, you got to listen. You got to listen. And sometimes you got to listen to the heartbeat of your team and say, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm a head coach, but you can't get caught up in yourself, and that's something I never do. I listen to my team, I listen to my assistant coaches, and take heed in what they see, and and try to put our expertise together.
Okay, I have to touch on homecoming, Coach. How do you prepare with the large number of transfers? And you got 3 freshmen, 6 transfers, that's 9 new young ladies to your team that don't know anything about Claflin homecoming. How do you prepare them to make sure that they're mentally ready to play and don't get caught up with the 24/7 festivities that go on all week?
Yeah, we when I was playing, had a college coach who's always tell us, and I tell my girls and my guys when I was on the men's side the same thing. We gotta make sure homecoming not our home going. So we gotta make sure that time management, because we are the show. At the end of the day, all the festivities do Sunday, Monday, all the way through Saturday. But at the grand scheme of things, Saturday is the show. They come to see the women's team and the men's team, and they expect us to win, and we gonna win. Because winning over everything. And so the biggest thing is you kind of gotta not fight with them. So we play Monday, and so Monday we'll be already locked in. Our first game of the season is homecoming week, but we locked in. Everybody else thinking about homecoming, but we locked in on Allen University. We got our game, we get that big win, and then that night it's probably gonna be something going on. As a coach, I'm not gonna fight with them. We get that big win Monday. Hey, respectfully, go out, have a good time. Hey, be safe. We get back to work, film Tuesday, bam. Wednesday probably gonna be something going on. Thursday, and then around Friday, they kind of know, okay, we gotta start dumbing this thing down. We gotta slow down because at the end of the day, all that hanging out, you don't want to be dragging on Saturday because by the time you wake up, have a shoe around, eat breakfast, it's jump ball. Coach, you already know that. And so that 2 o'clock tip off comes really, really fast, and that anxiety comes really fast. So to answer your question, the biggest thing is it's going to be some anxiety, some positive anxiety. So the biggest thing is to make them as relaxed as possible and just make it a smooth transition. So when they do get out there and play in front of the homecoming crowd, it'll become easy. Especially with them, with us having the only show in town on November 13th, that will really help them because I was thinking the guys was playing, but it's our stage, so they'll kind of get the atmosphere of the student body being there versus the alumni. So we'll be kind of 40 minutes in, to answer your question.
Okay, and you have increased student participation as you see even at the volleyball game. Yeah. Your student activity board, man, I hear they got the jungle on fire, Coach. So just imagine when you get to basketball.
The jungle is on fire, man. The biggest thing is, Coach, I might let the cat the bag, but that's gonna be the press. That's gonna be the name of our press this year, the jungle. Because we're gonna bring some chaos. Dr. Doctor, who is one of our administrators on campus, he's doing a great job with the student activities, and they went to another level. We asked for it. We asked for more student engagement. We was crying out for it. Even when I was a student athlete, we was crying out for, hey man, we don't need y'all in the seats, just in the seats. We need y'all cheering. We need y'all to be the sixth man. And so they had answered the call and they in here. So now we gotta give them something to cheer about, something to brag about. And so, they're gonna be our biggest supporters, and can't thank those students enough, and Dr. and what he's done and what he's poured into in the the PEP group. So we gonna take heed to that, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with it because at the end of the day, we're gonna have some non-conference games here. A lot of them, the student athletes won't be here first semester, but come second semester, I think we really gonna turn the heat up. But those first 2 games with us playing home gonna be really, really big. That's gonna set the tone for second semester when they come back in January.
Coach, I hear in your voice how your student section, and I've seen them on how they performed at the volleyball game. I see how excited they even have you, Coach.
Oh yeah, man. I'm ready, man. I'm ready for it. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, having that student support. Because at the end of the day, they were walking billboards. They gonna go home for winter break and for summer break and spring break, and they gonna be the one. Hey man, our girls and boys team at Claflin, we y'all don't want to see us. So they're the walking billboards for us, not just for getting more student athletes, but just get more students here. Because you gotta think about it. If your predominant sports are winning, that's gonna open up for everybody, all the other sports, for the institution, for the community, and that's what Dr. Womack is all about. Making sure everybody knows who Claflin are. We're not just a little sister or a little brother or somebody. We here to stay.
Claflin, the oldest HBCU in South Carolina.
Absolutely.
We talk all the time about the growth of Claflin and the family atmosphere at Claflin. Coach, before we go, as a former player and coach, what is share with you a memory that you could share with us from homecoming for you?
When I was a student athlete, my first homecoming, coming from a junior college, coming to a 4-year institution at the time, it was NEIA, didn't know what to expect. Same thing that you just asked me about, having 6 transfers and 3 freshmen, didn't know what they expected. But just walking out and just hearing that crowd and that support, just the roar, that Panther roar was just, electric to me. And so was able to go out there, and I think I had 12 points and 4 rebounds in my debut for homecoming in my junior year, and was able to build on that my senior year. And then now, was fortunate enough to, my college coach hired me. We was together for almost 10 years. And then, was able to work for Coach Jackson. And now I'm the head coach. I never dreamed, though, Coach, that I'd be the head coach of the women's program, because the women's program at Claflin has been dominant over the years a long time. That's the history. That's what we were known for. And that was the crazy thing. When I was traveling with the guys all the time, those 17 years as an assistant, when we riding around, we go to the restaurant, people always be like, hey, y'all still got a good women's program? So that's what I'm trying. That's what we're going to get back to. The predominant women and men's programs here at Claflin. Me and Coach Dunlap, we work really, really well together. We have a whole lot of fun. Our teams can work together a lot. And, right now, I'm outside the gym and I hear basketballs in there now. It's probably a lot of his players in there getting shots and free throws up. So, it's going to be a lot of electricity come homecoming week. I'm excited. Coach Dunlap excited. And, we're going to have a really good product out there for everybody to be excited about.
Well, Coach, I appreciate what you said about the history of Claflin women's basketball. We probably need to do a special show at some point just on that with Coach Nelson Brownlee and what he did and some of those legendary players that he had.
Yes.
And some of them that were nationally known and some that we even tried to recruit here at Florida A&M. And that they went to Claflin, boy, and ate it up. We didn't want no parts of Claflin. We didn't want to play them.
Yeah, that's what we're going to get back to, Coach. We're going to have people saying, hey, nah, Coach, we'll pass. And so that's what me and Coach Mike working hard for. And, and we definitely get the support from up top with Dr. Womack and his administration and, Mr. Tony, they let us work. So at the end of the day, we got to get the job done, and we will get the job done.
And that's really good to hear you say, because I know we would tell Coach Gaither, Jake Gaither, when he was alive, he was our athletic director, and we were having trouble getting games scheduled. And he said, baby, they shouldn't want to play you because they know you're going to beat them. So they shouldn't want to play you. That's an honor.
Yeah.
So, yes, sir, Coach. But whatever the coach told me that, then I was good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you being on. As always, we appreciate the wisdom that you bring and the intensity that you bring, and we appreciate you sharing that with the many, many fans of Claflin University.
Well, thank you again for having me, Coach. You always been a mentor for me from day one, so I appreciate you. I can tell you that publicly. And, I'll be calling on you in the next couple of weeks, going into this new season, my second season. And I expect it to be one of my best seasons.
Coach, you're easy to talk to. We wish you a lot of luck. My number hadn't changed. You can use it whenever you wish. I said, there's not much you're going through I haven't been through, so I understand.
Absolutely.
I understand. And we will be, this is the first of several interviews we'll have with Coach Jenkins as they get closer to their season. We want to make sure you stay updated with how they're doing, the progress. We get him to get a couple of his standout student athletes on so that you can hear straight from them and get a chance to know them. We know that it's very, very important for you to know who these young ladies are.
Absolutely.
Coach, we appreciate you being here and being a part of the Claflin Athletic Show. I can see you.
All right. Thank you again.
I liked it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. INSiiGHTS.
Yeah.
2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.